Support for the Four Brewers podcast is provided by beer drinkers like you. Support the show at patreon.com/4brewers. That's patreon.com/4brewers.
Welcome to Four Brewers. My name is Matt Becker, and as always, I'm joined by
John Holzer.
Anthony Cumia.
Greg Nagel.
And today on the show, we've got a bunch of Oskar Blues beers. Mm-hmm. We're doing them all in cans.
We've got Dale in a can.
I've got the blues.
We've got Old Chub.
Do you remember when there was a commercial for a craft dinner and it was like the Blue Box Blues? It's like, I got the blues. And just talking about the blue box, like how you had to buy craft, not other.
That reminds me of the chicken tonight. Do you feel like chicken tonight?
Like chicken tonight.
Oh, at first I thought you were talking about, like, I got the blues because I have to eat craft dinner.
No, man.
Oh.
Like Kraft macaroni and cheese.
I can go for some craft dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah, so do I. I was like, that's a really bad advertising campaign for them.
No doubt.
Like, talking about how sad it is that they're going to eat their product.
No, it's I got the blues, and then I'm going to eat this, and I'm not going to have the blues anymore.
Oh, I get it. So Oskar Blues.
It's like, they're like, if mama wants to please me, she's only got to cheese me. I got the blues. Remember that shit? It's like Rattle Me Bones.
Rattle me bones.
That's one of those theme songs that couldn't work these days because it would just get ripped to shreds.
I feel like we should just
Mom
be
wants
like,
to please me, she can give me an HJ.
Jesus Christ.
An old fashioned.
Four Brewers. Only 90s kids will get this.
Speaking of 90s kids, Burrito.
What?
Burrito.
First up on our Oskar Blues explosion.
The chat also posted a member berry, by the way.
Of course.
Member berries. Burrito Mexican lager from Oskar Blues.
Is this a light lager or a dark lager? Because it can go both ways.
I want to say it's like a Vienna lager.
It's a Vienna lager.
They can swing both ways.
It still has that thing where you put your weed in there.
Oscura.
Of course it does.
If you don't know what Jason's talking about, there's like this weird mesh thing. And we learned about that on New Brew Thursday, I think, when we went to Oskar Blues, because we asked what that was, and we honestly did not know. And they were like,
it's about weed.
It's weed. Oh, okay. How was that so hard?
What is this? What are you talking about?
There's a little hole on the side of the can
there's
right
a
here.
little circle on every can.
I could have told you that.
Yeah, and the intent,
put your weed in there.
The intent is to punch a hole in it so you can use the can to smoke marijuana.
Hotbox,
Yeah.
Which is totally legal now.
I feel like most people...
In California, but not for New York.
Nowadays, most
In
people
Colorado.
have all sorts of weed accessories.
Yeah, and see, the thing is like smoking on top of aluminum, there's something just real gross about that. Like, use an apple, dude.
There was I was watching a thing with Action Bronson.
Is this a person?
Yeah, he's like this weird beauty white rapper dude. He's got a food show on Vice. He's a weird guy.
Okay.
Anyways, he's apparently got this like exotic collection of really expensive water pipes. That's like one of his things.
Oh.
Water pipe.
Water
Really
pipes.
expensive.
That's an interesting thing to collect.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, like after a while, like they become more like coffee table like statues, like art, more than they are like devices to smoke with. And it's actually funny because most of the time when you have like the really ornate ones, they actually sucked smoke out of because it's like, wait, I'm supposed to put the weed where? What part do I put? What, do I put my mouth on the mermaid's titty? Is that what I'm supposed to do here? I don't really know.
Mermaid's titty.
Like, this is a legit problem.
You're just in there for an hour, like trying to, where do I put my mouth?
Yeah, exactly.
We've all been there.
Yeah, I was gonna say your first time's always very awkward, but the burrito, you know, you want to know
Worth
something
noting
funny?
is that this is like 6 months old. It's been hanging out. I think it was like a spring seasonal.
Okay. You want to know something funny? Is I actually didn't realize that this was a dark lager. I had an entire 6-pack of this, and I drank through it, and I didn't know
Didn't
the
pour
dark
it in.
lager. I never poured it into a glass.
Oh, yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah, it's kind of a light ambery color, like a little bit of caramel.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like a Modelo.
For being
Modelo.
6 months old, it doesn't smell bad or taste bad.
No, it's holding up.
Pretty tasty.
Yeah, I mean, it's got a little bit of oxidation, but it's so. I think this would still be worth buying. Totally. It's a little metallic, but besides that,
I mean, it's a Mexican lager. It's got that Mexican
4%
lager
too.
thing.
It's got it still has a nice like bready like maltiness, you know?
Toasted bread, like
toast.
Yeah, it's like a caramely, biscuity front, and then it does have a coppery finish.
A little bit.
Yeah.
It's a little metallic.
Maybe that's just its age.
I think I would chalk that up to oxidation personally. But
would you eat a burrito with it?
no, actually. I would drink IPA while eating a burrito. I think IPA is the ultimate burrito pairing.
Really?
I pair IPA with everything.
Oh.
That's true. Me too.
Actually, not sweets.
What was it? Carrot cake in IPA?
Is that what Bill did one time?
Yeah, that was the Bill thing.
That wasn't bad.
That was pretty good.
I like Scotch ale and burritos just because I go really hot with the hot sauce, and I think the sweet kind of works
just
well with the
sounds-
heat.
Oh yeah, that would work for me.
Heat.
Because I don't know what to do about this carrot cake and IPA.
Maybe I'm alone on this. I don't drink beer with food lately.
Really?
I feel like wasting the food and the beer by drink. I mean, I'm not specifically pairing, and I understand beer does pair with food.
It does.
But every day drinking, like I'm either going to drink a beer and then eat or not drink. And, you know, I don't put the two together that often. I just eat food and then I drink whatever I'm drinking, which is usually water with my food because I want to enjoy the food. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I haven't been as like intentional about it as I used to be. Like now I will just have beer in my fridge. And if the two don't go together, I'll just wait to drink the beer.
Yeah.
You know, if they go together, then I'm like, fucking, hey, parents.
Yeah, that's true.
You know?
Like Thanksgiving is coming up, or if it's maybe the show, I don't know. But
Well, that's a little different, I think.
I generally will buy just Orval I'll buy whatever is on the shelf because
Yeah,
I think
Orval
that
works
works
great.
really well with Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good call.
That's a fun
'cause
one.
It's kind of spicy, and it'll like the carbonation's high, so
I
it'll
think it
cut through
works
a lot
with
of fat. Because Thanksgiving food is always really fatty.
Really fatty, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's fun to pour. Like, yeah. It's
You
just
make a
good
vagina.
all-around.
It leaves, you make a vagina for sure. You can have that little like pillow top on top of
the
it.
foam, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can give some to grandma.
Get an island of foam
She's
there.
like, oh my
hangs
God,
out.
look at the foam on that thing.
like,
Wow, my God, it's like my meringue pie. It's the amazing thing I've ever seen. That's incredible. It's made by monks. It's a Trappist.
For some reason, talks really quiet like this, just from the south.
That's right.
For
And then
no
she's like,
reason.
Yeah.
Grandma, did you fart? No.
I have never experienced that.
You never experienced your grandma farting?
No.
Oh, man.
My grandma's classy.
You're a fart.
She was deaf, I guess, and maybe just had a loose behind.
My grandma was my grandma was 94 and she just didn't give a fuck.
Runs in the Nagel
Yeah.
family.
Yeah, she just stopped. She just
It's like
my grandma just
mid sentence.
yeah, my grandma just stopped
keep talking
giving
over
fucks.
it.
Yeah. That's why she would
hilarious.
do. You ever wonder why all of a sudden your grandma would start talking louder and then she got more quiet?
Like leans to the side. She's a leaner.
So burrito.
That's where Nagel coined his classic little like quiet fart noise.
Hashtag granny farts.
Oskar Blues is like, great. We're
Thanks, guys.
We're off to a fucking bang on this
exactly.
show.
That's another 4B dip.
Fucking Oscar himself.
Oh my God, dude.
Does anyone know what the deal with their name is? It's not like a dude. Is it like Oskar Blues? I don't think so. I think Dale is like one of the guys.
Dale is one of the guys, yes. And that is
Dale
his.
is the owner.
It's his pail. I thought Dale was the brewer.
Well, owner, brewer, yeah.
Strong research on our parts.
What's
job,
it
fellas.
say in the bottom of the can?
Dale's the dude. The bottom of the burrito can says, say queso, Mitch Conner.
What?
That's what the bottom of the can
Like,
says.
are they torturing somebody?
Yeah. Bird up.
Say
queso. Say queso.
Yeah. Mitch Conner. Who's Mitch Conner?
That's a
don't know.
first class
Should Google
queso
that.
dip.
Honestly, it's probably like one of the dudes on their canning line or something. You know, where he just got to be the one to, you know, punch in something on the date coder.
Yeah.
You know, I wonder if they like
just
take
let
turns.
people put whatever the fuck they want.
I would
there.
assume so. They have to.
Like, that's got to be on like the job description.
Got to be approved.
Of the
though.
perks.
There's no way they're just letting people run rampant.
Maybe they just have trust in their dudes and they're all pretty trill guys. And if some guy writes cock shit piss on the bottom of their can, then they're like, all right, dude,
Yeah, they're like
Yeah.
you get your dating privileges revoked.
you can't do the cans anymore, man. You wrote cock shit piss that day.
I mean,
you're going to a different part of the line. You're going to start loading up empties.
I mean, it makes as much sense as like monkish IPA names.
I love monkish IPA names because they're so like heady, but who knows if they actually mean anything.
They're just like captchas that they're like, that's a good captcha.
They're usually random snippets of like 90s hip hop songs.
Oh,
that's cool.
A lot of them are.
Word.
Bird up.
Not like LA Hat or something. Well, maybe it could be. Well, yeah, there are a lot of old school rap references, like Hamilton.
Wallet and El Segundo.
Left my wallet in El Segundo. Shall we move on to Dale's Pale Ale?
Yeah, man. What's funny about, obviously, I'm sure everybody's had an Oskar Blues beer at one point or another, but if you haven't, they're all in cans and they're kind of one of the original OG canner craft beer people.
They are. They're really like one of the early ones who are like, no, you guys, canning is okay. In fact, it's good.
That was the first stout I've had in a can.
2002 was when they started canning.
First imperial stout that I had in a can.
I went to the About the Brewery and they're like, in 2002, our funky little brew pub started canning Oskar Blues Pale Ale. And we now have another brewery. Like, okay.
Kind of going in and out of that voice there.
Well,
They're just like, yep, we started making Dale's Pale Ale in 2002. Now we opened a brewery in North Carolina and another one in Austin. Anyways, cans are dope. And I was like, okay, that's seriously the whole history of your brewery? Okay.
Well, I didn't know they had a brewery in Austin.
Yeah, they're
that's
opening
news to
one
me.
in Austin. Yeah.
Oh, wow. They're really, really going for it.
wow.
At the bottom of their can for Dale's Pale Ale, which is from 919, not too bad, it says smash with forehead.
It should specify when empty.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're dumb enough to try it full, then you deserve what you get.
Cave your skull in, Jesus.
Get some
Natural
Scully.
selection.
So Dale's Pale Ale, want to point out, really unusual pale ale. Like, it's definitely not based on your like Sierra Nevada pale ale style. You know,
It's got some character to it.
It's a lot darker. It's almost like more old school Pacific Northwesty.
Well,
I mean, I'd say it's not quite an amber. It's more of like a copper color, but it's still pretty dark.
Yeah, it's up there in like the 9-ish.
Yeah,
SRM-ish.
Yeah, I'd say.
A little bit of a notable omission is that I wasn't able to track down any pinner for this show. I'd like to have some of that.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
It's great beer.
That's their hoppy like session
Yep, their session IPA.
deal.
Oh.
They refer to Dale's Pale Ale as a voluminously hopped mother.
Like MOTHA.
MUTHA.
Mother.
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 Mother. Yeah. I've had this at the Honda Center.
Not walk my way.
I've had this at Honda Center in like a 19.2, like an imperial pint
Right.
can.
Yeah.
Which is,
giant
like,
fucking
insane.
can. Yeah.
Like it was like $14 or something. I'm like, fuck it.
Yeah.
I'll get two.
It's a huge.
That's what
can.
they serve the BA 10 Fiddies in that 19.2. They call it a stovepipe can.
Oh,
That's a lot.
It's very
it's a
tall.
lot of beer.
Yeah.
It's really excessive.
Well, it's not just for one person, dude.
Yeah.
It's like 750 of Black Tuesday. you
Yeah,
know?
for real.
It's Dome It.
That's the worst.
Dome It with the beats.
Matt's just like pound, smash on head.
Exactly.
19.2, that's a bit too much, Oskar Blues. You guys are being really irresponsible here today.
So, anyways.
And then smoke some weed out of it.
Oh, this smells good. It's like grassy and a little minty.
They claim it's 6.5% and 65 IBUs.
This is a fucking IPA. Like,
Yeah.
Basically.
right?
Basically.
It is minty. That's a good call.
It's very herbal.
Do we know what hops are in this?
Do not know.
Not learning from their website. They feel like there's like a lot of like marketing talk on their stuff, but not like a lot of like fucking real talk.
Actual information.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
They don't have. I'm sure you could find it like a homebrew clone recipe
Yeah.
It's like
that's been verified.
Rocky Mountain Pale Ale. Is that related to Rocky Mountain oysters, or is it just
no, I think it's
No.
they're literally from the Rocky Mountains.
It's like this pale ale from my balls.
I mean,
freshly dipped with balls.
Longmont's pretty close to the Rockies, not in them.
Well, I think the entirety of the state of Colorado is pretty close to the Rockies.
Yeah. I mean, you fly over them.
Wincoop made a Rocky Mountain oyster stout.
They did. That was a thing.
It was unfortunate.
They put balls in it.
John's like, I can't drink this. It's not vegan.
Well, even better an excuse to not drink it.
Yeah.
I tried it. It was all
Definitely
right.
can't drink that.
I remember being salty.
But give me that milk stout right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very unctuous.
So unctuous.
A lot of umami.
Oh.
Moo mommy.
Moo mommy.
Gross. You guys are grossing me out now.
What do goats do, Matt?
Bleat.
I was assuming you had like a goat sound effect on deck at all time.
Oh, goats?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's not what they do.
Yes, they do.
No. Aren't they like,
No, they're more like, ah!
Hey.
Ah! Like they're trying to get your attention.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, the best ones are you get like, a bunch of that, and then all of a sudden there's one that's like, ah! You're like, what the fuck?
I remember when it was like that meme with that goat that screams like a person, and just everyone kept mixing it into everything. It was real fun.
yes.
It was a fun
That Taylor
week.
Swift song.
Yeah.
Trouble.
Goats, man.
Socials pale.
I don't know, man. What's the demeanor of a goat? Like, have you guys spent much time with goats?
I think they're pretty chill.
Are they?
They sleep a lot.
Do they? Like, I like their milk.
Yeah, the cheese.
and their cheese,
made
yeah.
from the milk.
Yeah, man.
So I'm like, why not keep one around? Be like, hey, you produce some milk.
Eat all your
because
shit.
it'll chew through your everything.
Oh.
Like I heard about
Eat
people having
everything.
goats for pets, and like you think like dogs are bad about ripping shit apart. No, goats will fuck your shit up.
Well, I wouldn't let it in the house. Like, you could keep a goat outside, and people wouldn't be like, you're a terrible pet parent for not letting your goat sleep in your bed. You can put a goat in a fucking barn or some shit, and everyone's like, that's where they go.
Give it the goat house.
Yeah, like, you can get, like, if you get a barnyard pet, people are still okay with you, like, keeping it outside. But if you put your dog in the backyard, everyone's like, well, you're a monster.
Yeah,
I'm
it's not.
gonna-
It's like people don't expect you to like bed down with your chickens.
No.
Do they make goat milk sugar? Like goat lactose?
I think that would probably just be too expensive.
Really? That'd be
I mean, in the
funky to make a stout out of goat milk.
well, in
Lactose?
the end,
Goat sugar?
it all just comes. It all just ends up being powdered lactose sugar in the end.
that's
So
true.
it doesn't really have it's not really
Nah.
source specific. I mean,
Gotcha.
the differences are the types of proteins and fats that are in the milk. You know.
Yeah, that gives it the flavors.
Yeah, exactly. Like all milk is part water. So
Yeah. Gotcha.
Do you think they use goat water in this?
yes,
In
I
this
do.
beer?
I
Yes.
mean, Dale's Pale Ale.
goat water.
Total goat water.
From a real goat water town in Colorado.
The finest goat water this side of the Mississippi.
But we kind of talked about it on the Worthy Brewing show, but this Dale's Pale Ale also is kind of has a unique hop profile to it. It's kind of it's not quite in that normal like piney fruity wheelhouse. It's got kind of some interesting hop profiles to it. I'd really be curious what hops are in this.
Yeah,
beer.
it's got like an herbal kind of note. Oh dang! You know what other one that we
dang.
You know what the other one we forgot about too was Gubna. When was the last time we had Gubna?
Yeah, I didn't see it when I bought it.
I haven't seen it in a long time. That's a weird beer.
In the chat, they came through with some goat milk lactose.
There it is.
Nice.
Oh shit!
Wow.
You can buy it's really expensive,
Kyle.
but you can buy some fucking straight up goat lactose.
Capra
buy that.
lactose.
Wow,
What's happening?
I want to make a homebrew with goat lactose.
That's what I'm saying.
It's like for nobody. It's like for the people who only abstain from cow products, apparently.
Like goat cheese is cool. Cow's milk, fuck that shit.
And it's
No.
100% goat milk.
Nice.
Lactose. Well, there you go, Matt.
I mean, dude, yeah, it's going to happen.
This is
That's weird.
I think that's how you can put your brewery on the map.
This is a goat milk.
Goat lactose.
Had a brew with the fucking goat beer.
This is 1
They
pound.
do.
1
So
pound.
they do hoppy beers, saison, and goat beer. That's their description.
What's a goat beer? You have to ask, man.
You have to ask. You can't afford it.
$20 a pint.
Oh,
Yeah, dude, this Dale's, it totally reminds me of like a British, like IPA almost. But it's got like that biscuity, marmalade-y.
the marmalade thing. Yeah,
that a lot of like British or English IPAs kind of have.
Yeah, and
and it's got the herbal thing happening too. I never really put that together, but yeah, I can see it as just like a British IPA, but no, it's Dale's Pale Ale.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
That's a really good call on the marmalade thing.
I think you kind of hit it. It says they use hefty amount of European malts, but then Northern Brewer for bittering, Cascade and Columbus for flavor, and Centennial for aroma.
Oh,
Really?
That's what they claim.
I was going to say, do you guys get any of that out of this?
nope.
No, not at all.
I mean, Centennial is kind of like tangerine marmalade, right? I mean,
Ish. It's not really. It's more tangerine. It's not really marmalade, though.
yeah, that's true. I mean, I'm thinking of the Founders All Day, or what was there? They have an IPA with like all Centennial. The
Centennial IPA, yeah.
According to the Homebrewers Association, it's a Maris Otter Carahel. But almost all Maris Otter.
I can see that.
Like, 10.5 pounds Maris Otter, half pound Carahel, and then Northern Brewer, Columbus, Centennial, Cascade.
Yeah,
Cal Ale yeast.
the Maris Otter.
Yeah, for sure. All in all, it's a fun beer to revisit. You know, like
It's a staple.
I think I was gonna say. I mean, you can put this. I would say like up in like that. You know, Mount Olympus of craft beers at this point, right? I mean, along with your Sierra
top
Nevada
5 pale ale.
Yeah, along with your Sierra Nevadas and, you know,
It
your...
may be blasphemy, but I'd probably
Fat
reach
Tire.
for a Dale's before I drank a Sierra Nevada pale.
That is blasphemy. Fuck
I
you.
would agree with you on that.
I agree.
Nope.
I'm not a big fan of Sierra
You
Nevada.
guys are
like, it's
wrong.
okay. It's
like
it's
it.
good for what it is, but
Sierra Nevada is not a bad beer. It's great, but I do not buy it
ever.
And yeah.
Actually,
It's because it's just, it comes off kind of heavy and hard to, I don't know.
I usually, if I buy
just
it,
a
it's
pain in the
my
ass to
only
drink.
choice.
It is. I have to think
taxing.
about it too much, and I'm like,
It's like, stuff this in your stocking.
stuff this in your stocking.
Matt, do it. This is hard. Jason, that's your voice.
I don't like drinking this anymore, you guys. It's way too difficult for me.
Can't handle it right now.
It doesn't even have any hashtag juice.
Goddamn.
All right. So moving on to actually a pretty new beer from Oskar Blues IPA.
Just straight up IPA.
Straight IPA. They didn't make just straight IPA for the longest time.
We were discussing this earlier, and we think they may have replaced Deviant Dales with this because we haven't seen Deviant Dales in a while.
Yeah, that was in Tall Cans too for a while.
Yeah.
We saw this GABF last year, not this past one, but the one year before is where we had this in our hotel. It was just sitting in an ice bucket, and they're like, "Come on
everywhere.
down,
Yeah.
have some Oskar Blues."
Yeah. Does anyone else think it's weird that when these guys are like, "Oh man, we got a really high ABV beer. We should put it in the biggest package possible." You know, like, "Oh, Deviant Dales is like 9%. Let's put it in one of the big ass cans." Like, is that?
Marketing.
Yeah,
It looks cool. It's a
People
big
like to
can.
get drunk.
that's true.
I want to say
Maybe it's-
Deviant Dales was one of the first ones they put in a big can, maybe.
In
Because
the,
that goes
bomber
back a
can.
while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll put it in your big can.
Heyo. So this one they do tell us the
I want
hops
to
on
put
their
my
website.
stick in it. I want to put a stick in me.
So they do say the hops that are in this on their website.
Okay.
It is Enigma, Vic's Secret, Ella,
Oh,
Topaz,
Ooh.
and Galaxy.
wow.
It's all Australian hops. right?
I'm shocked that they're able to make this at this scale because those hops are not easy to come by.
It's because they bought them all.
Oh yeah.
You can't get it because Oskar Blues bought the next 80,000 tons of them.
Yeah, isn't that happened with fucking Widmer and Nelson hops? They're like, we're gonna do this one Nelson beer. Sorry, home brewers, go fuck yourselves.
Can I just say this thing has
Yeah,
a pinky of just head hanging out?
Great.
Yeah.
Got great hit on it. Yeah.
It's a little cloudy too.
And this is about 3 months old, and it's smelling pretty good for being a 3-month-old.
what's it
IPA.
say on the can?
it says can o fun.
Oh,
Yeah, it's kind of disappointing actually. I was really hoping for something more creative.
Oh, it tastes good too.
it's
Nice
a little
light body.
It's like a little cloudy but yellow, like a. There's a little bit of color to it, but not much. How would you guess the SRM on this, Greg?
I would say a solid 5 to 6.
All right.
I would say lower. I would guess
4.
3.5, 3.5,
That's
4
really
or
light.
something like that. This is really light though.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's cloudy and that's making it look a little bit darker.
Yeah, I guess you're right. It's a light, pale, yellowy gold. 4 to 5.
Okay, we'll go with that.
It has a very tropical nose, like just not like
Smells like mango pineapple. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it looks like
I'd say 4.
Greg's 5. Yeah, 4 or 5.
I'd say 4.
But it's dark. It's cloudy. That's the thing. Is whenever the more opaque
Yeah,
something is, the
sure.
darker it looks.
Yeah, less light's coming through. Yeah.
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 Oh
Yeah,
wow,
the less light.
Is that right?
That's how light works.
definitely less light.
Well, the darker it is, the less light passes through it. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Science.
Science.
You're right, Matt.
It's a good beer.
I'm sitting here second guessing myself. Like, is that true?
If you put like a halogen light up to that, it's going to look white.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Actually, if you with dark beers, if it's got a bunch of shit in them, it'll actually make it look lighter in color. Don't ask me why.
It's reflecting light at that point.
Okay,
There you go.
word up. Thank you, John.
Bird up.
Instead
Science.
of absorbing light,
Come
it's reflecting light.
to 4 Brewers for all of your light science discussions.
Did you guys know that light is both a particle and a wave? It's called the particle wave duality.
You know, save it. Just keep it off my wave.
Checking it out with my duodenal interludes. But anyways, this IPA has got the big tropical nose happening. Tropical citrus, kind of like that mango-y. Meets pineapple, meets
Orange
homie
peel.
down the street.
Yeah.
This
Orange
is
peel.
another IPA that I really like
Homie down the
because
street named Pineapple? Like,
I don't know.
this is another IPA that I really like because it's got kind of a unique flavor profile. It's kind of it's kind of tropical with a little like funkiness, but not like a. It's like a hop funkiness. If that's
yeah, well, it has that like unusual hop kind of character, you know, where you can tell that these are like, because like the Australian, like New Zealand hops are kind of weird because they were all originally those like German type hops, and then they got crossbred and replanted and stuff, but they all kind of, to me at least, with certain exceptions, have that grassy herbal like top note, like a lot of noble hops have. Like you look at your Hallertauer, your Hersbrucker and your Mittelfru and like all those, they all have kind of like an essence of that, and that's what I'm kind of getting in the nose of this, where it has all the tropical stuff, but it also has that grassy kind of top note.
that might be it. That kind of that herbal back end.
Exactly.
For me, Ella, I've had a beer. I think Bootleggers did a session IPA with only Ella hops in it, and it was this super weird, like sort of vegetal, like dank vegetables.
Dank vegetables.
And it was like
Dank
it was
veggies,
the weirdest
bro.
beer, man.
Gonna cook up the dankest veggies ever, bro.
But I can definitely get that like note in here.
Yeah,
it's just a
exactly.
note.
I feel like the hop manufacturers should really be targeting the Ella hops at NorCal breweries.
Yeah.
They'd be like, oh man, this is Ella good.
My umbrella. Ella.
A.
Hey.
Both of those shows.
That's Canadian Rihanna.
Exactly.
Canadian Rihanna. Wow, I like that. I'd buy that record.
I think there's a nice malty backbone to it too. It's got a nice malt
Surprisingly, yeah.
flavor. It's kind of it's not sweet like a sweet like East Coast IPA. It's just got body and it's savory and kind of chewy.
It's nice, soft too.
It's good.
Nice firm bitterness.
Yeah.
No, I
Just kind of like hangs out a little bit.
This one's a regular buy for me.
For sure.
Honestly, I get it all the time.
Yeah, this is really nice. I think
would buy it again.
I like how Oskar Blues kind of does like bigger, chewier beers. Dale's is kind of like that. Old Chub, which we got coming up, like that kind of thing. With Pinner being like the big exception, but besides that, they're kind of going against their own grain with this one, which I like a lot. I think that's really cool.
And we did start touching on it earlier, but props to Oskar Blues for really, really blazing the trail for canned beer in general. Like canned beer, period. The Crowler, I think, was started at their brewery.
Literally invented by them. Yes.
Yeah, and like up until even 2 or 3 years ago, there was a huge stigma on canned beer where it was like, it's gonna taste like metal and blah 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 blah. It's gonna,
even like a lot of breweries, like Sam Adams was the worst, where they're like, no, bottles are better. Cans suck, and then eventually they're like, "Oh shit, people like beer in cans." Yeah. We did our own research and some inner linings, and now I think that the can quality has finally been good enough for our standards. Fuck Sam Adams.
Sam Adams was being the stone in the middle of the river for like 2 or 3 years ago, where they're like, "We're not going to do all these crazy IPAs. We're not going to do the cans. We're not doing all this stuff that people want. We're going to make the beer that we make our way." And then like a year later, they're like, "We got Rebel Grapefruit."
Did you see Rebel Juice?
Yeah, Rebel Juice, man. They're finally bringing that New England juice to the fucking masses, dude. I'm sure it'll be fucking mediocre as fuck.
Yeah, yeah, it won't be good because fuck them.
The thing I remember about cans, because I got into craft beer like 2009, it wasn't necessarily that the beer is going to taste metallic, because they're lined, and that was never a thing I heard. But the big thing, especially from Bill and Dr. Bill and Stone, was the bauxite mines and how they just devastate land. And that was as far as I know.
I feel like that's somebody's like, all right, I have no good reason to fight this thing, so we got to go look something up. And they're like, bauxite.
That was the thing. That was the number one thing I always heard was like, oh, mining aluminum is devastating to the environment, and we'd rather use glass because it's easier and it's easier to recycle. And
sure, it's made
blah,
out of
blah,
sand.
blah. And was like, okay, well, I'll buy that, I guess. And then everyone jumped on board, and it's like, what happened to the bauxite mines?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, they're still there, but
Yeah, well, that's the thing is like they're like, well, there's a stigma against them, kind of industry wide, so we're going to stick to bottles, but bauxite. And then after the actual populace warmed up, they're like, "Oh, cool, yeah, oh yeah, bauxite." But no, cool,
No, it's still a problem. And I did my own research, and yeah, bauxite mines, that's like strip mining. It just ruins land. Mm-hmm. But now no one seems to care about it, and everyone's canning beer. So, and I'm sure there's a certain amount that gets recycled, and it cuts all that down. Especially the more breweries that are making cans, the more gets recycled, kind of thing. So I don't know how that cycle. I don't know,
or even
how devastating it is. The more breweries use cans, since more are being recycled, supposedly,
or even like what kind of dent that is having in the industry, at all. Considering that, I would assume that the vast majority of cans come from either A, the big breweries, or B, soda companies.
Recycled too.
Yeah, that's true.
So
I didn't think about it that way. I didn't think about soda.
Yeah, because the vast majority of cans got to be soda cans.
They got to be, yeah.
Ball.
Yeah. That company's got some balls.
Ball so hard.
These are ball
sack
cans
of their
too.
product.
Did you just go full ZZ Top right now? That's over here like,
killed me.
You got legs.
We got legs.
I was actually I found Eliminator on vinyl for like $6.
Oh my God, dude.
At the record
Classic.
store. And I was listening to that, and it's funny because like
from ZZ Top.
Yes, and it's funny because I was listening to that album and I was simultaneously realizing how many songs I knew by heart on that album without actually owning it, and then I also realized how many songs I had never heard before on that album. Like half of those songs everyone knows by heart, and then the other half no one's ever heard.
I think
hits, man.
ZZ Top was like a bold move in like making a band full of dudes that looked like Rip Van Winkle, and then making the beginning of your name zzz. Like they're just gonna snooze.
Like, where are you gonna find them?
They're just snoozing.
It's the very last shelf in the record store.
That's right. Yeah,
Exactly. Actually,
It's not the first one.
It's a good. It's really easy to alphabetize.
It's right next to the blues
Really
Latin
easy.
section.
or the electronic section in some places.
exactly.
Literally the last band, because like if your band starts with a Z, theirs has a Z after the Z.
Exactly. They got two
So,
Z's.
They are the last thing on the shelf, which is probably good placement.
Two Z's. One Zia.
This one
sorry.
goes to two.
The band named after Zizix Road now is fucking behind ZZ Top in fucking alphabetical order.
Fuck those guys. They're just trying to show off.
Like I've been to Vegas.
I drove that road once.
That's
I
awesome.
had an original idea. So moving
some
on
Chubs.
next, we're gonna do Chub. Or We're gonna get ourselves a chubby.
We said death by coconut.
We're gonna do death by coconut. Are we gonna get death? Yeah. Okay. Let's do death by coconut.
We're gonna get coconutted.
We're gonna get all the coconuts. The bottom of this can says it's tropic ale.
What?
Tropical.
Tropical.
I guess coconuts are tropical.
Yeah,
They are. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing.
Yeah, in beer they generally are used in like kind of a rich, creamy thing, but like coconut flavor you'll get in like a cocktail is going to be like a tropical
Pina
fruity.
colada.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get the pina colada. Honestly, you know what is actually surprisingly good is using coconut and hoppy beer like IPA.
Yeah.
Works really
We
well.
had that one from
Belching Beaver.
Belching Beaver when we
That's
were
right.
down there.
Yeah.
That was
It
good.
works really, really well. Yeah, that and also sour beer too.
Great Lay, which I'm sure they still steadfastly are like, we didn't. Oh no, we're so sorry. We did not understand that Great Lay would be connotated
In a sexual
as
way.
though it was. We just had our Belching Beaver, and we didn't realize anybody would read into it any other way.
The beaver that drank too much
God
soda.
damn it, John!
It's fashioned after a vagina.
John, you motherfucker!
Right?
I swear to Christ.
And they were
The
like,
teeth
no,
are the
no, no,
clitoris.
No, 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 no.
The teeth are the clitoris.
John,
Or a clit.
you guys, John will do a Patreon only recording where he goes into a 5-minute explanation as to why
was
the
brilliant.
Belching Beaver logo.
The mouth is the labius.
When you're right, you're right. You know?
There's the Majora.
That's a Patreon only special, so you got to support to get that. Get
The arms are the legs. Like
John, you save it for Patreon.
Hashtag the arms of the legs. You guys, the arms. The arms of the legs. The arms of the legs.
They didn't move the bodies.
And this is foreshadowing. I can't believe Deftones did a beer with Belching Beaver of all breweries.
You know, they
yeah.
probably put the feelers out, and Belching Beaver's like, we'll do it.
I wonder what.
Deftones and Belch, it just makes no sense.
I wonder
to me.
what that would taste like.
Foreshadowing.
We'll find out.
I was like, sweet, Deftones is doing a collab beer with Belching Beaver.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the thing. Like, there's a couple of bands like this band,
That's it.
Fallujah, that I like a lot. On their
Music Talk from Music Beer Show.
oh, that's true.
Coming up next week.
Guys, got to save that material.
We're literally farming all the content for our next show onto this show.
Sorry.
So, Death by Coconut.
Looks like a melon might be a cocoa nut.
It's a dark beer. What is
It's
it?
a
What's the base?
coconut
A stout?
porter.
Coconut porter?
Yeah, I would assume.
It's an Irish porter. It's up there if you want to look at it.
Aha. Is there just coconut in this, or is there any other adjuncts?
Cacao.
I don't know.
Caramel
Steven
malt?
Tyler PJs. Steven Tyler.
Dark, extra dark caramel malt. Caramel malt. Oh no.
Loads of their secret cacao ingredient from Cholaka and extra dark caramel malt.
So, yes, I think.
Yeah, they have a secret cacao ingredient.
Just cacao.
What does that even mean?
It's a secret, fucker. I don't
Yeah,
know.
like it's cacao.
think
That's
they
what
just
that
have
is.
Cacao flavoring, and they just take a cow and they kick
It's
it.
of a cow.
They kick the cow and then they milk it.
Oh, apparently these Cholaka people make a pure liquid cacao in 5-gallon and 50-gallon drums for mixing into your specialty.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Because
Wow, that sounds
liquid cacao sounds like it'd be a lot easier to deal with.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
Easier to dose.
Chocolate
Don't
cows.
pound
It's
it.
not dusty.
Isn't that like Hershey syrup?
It's not like Dusty Cocoa.
Dusty cocoa.
It's liquid cacao.
John, you got to get a character with Dusty Cocoa. Like,
I'm not good at characters.
Yeah.
I'm hard. It's hard enough for me to be myself. Little character.
Aw.
What?
I like yourself.
Dusty Cocoa knows a lot about hard times.
Oh my gosh.
There you go. There it is.
Dusty Cocoa is coming for you, motherfucker. I mean, coming for you, man.
I was doing Dusty Rhodes. He's got that lisp.
Oh, that's true.
Like he's like
Dusty Cocoa coming down. Gonna be winning the world title tomorrow night. He was never good. He was never.
he
that
was
good.
like he was like this like kind of like effeminate Southerner with a lisp, and he's like a tubby dude with like curly hair, and somehow he like got over as a wrestler.
Oh,
Someone
yeah.
called him out. I think last time we were like ranting about it. It's like, props to Dusty Rhodes. How did you pull that off? You
Yeah,
know?
for real.
Like you can see why like the Macho Man or like Hulk Hogan.
Here's the
they're-
American dream. Dusty Rhodes coming down to Atlanta tomorrow night. going to win the world championships. That's the thing I do pretty decent.
Pretty good, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, not bad.
Well, he was an announcer. That's the thing. It's like, after a while, Dustin Rhodes talking about the hit man, Bret Hart, best he is, best it was, best it will be. I'm sorry. I'm done.
Wow.
So this beer smells like fucking mounds.
Sandro's in the house. It does smell like mounds. It does. It smells like mounds of dusty cocoa.
Chocolate and coconut like crazy. And when you drink it, it is like liquid candy.
Yeah.
It is like just chocolate coconut and like that's it. There's not There's not like a bitter back on the end like you get on some of the like imperial stouts with cocoa. It's just sweet and desserty.
It's not too sweet though, because if it's too sweet, I could kill a 6-pack of this.
Yeah,
It's not cloying.
Yeah, this is perfect.
Yeah,
It's like
funny.
a dark chocolate, not like a milk chocolate, but you're getting like kind of a dark chocolate flavor.
Yeah, we were talking about at the in the Worthy show about that the vanilla stuff that they had. They're like, wow, it's just like a little top note, it like blends in really well. This is exactly the opposite. This is all like, hey,
breathing out
candy
coconut.
bar.
Right
yeah,
now.
it's like this beer is like, hey, motherfuckers, you wanted coconut?
It's called Death by Coconut. It's exactly what it says on the tin.
It's not just a clever name.
People be like, that's a lot of coconut. You're like, I'm sorry, what did you expect out of Death by Coconut? It's going to kill you because it's so much coconut. We don't know how we could have warned you anymore.
They're like, yeah, they're like, we couldn't even try. We couldn't even do it if we tried.
I mean, if you like coconut, there's a certain breed of people that don't like coconut,
I feel sorry for them.
Yeah.
There's like, I just don't like coconut.
We call those people
like coconut.
monsters.
I love coconut.
Actually, I don't generally like coconut flavor on stuff. Like on desserts, like, you know what? I don't mind coconut flavor. I don't like the texture of it. So when you have all those little like coconut flecks on shit, it's like, man,
You got they're real chewy. They're real dense and fibrous.
And I just don't like the consistency of them. So like you get those like snowballs, you call them?
Oh yeah,
and it's like the coconut on the outside. It's just like
it feels like you're chewing on bark.
Yeah, kind of are. I think
The other beer that's really good
bark.
and coconutty is the Patsy from Barley
Patsy.
Forge.
Yes. Actually, speaking of which, this is I think the only beer on the table right now that we have previously featured.
Season 2, episode 52.
Yep.
The last show of 2015. Yeah.
Yeah, we did the whole coconut thing, right? We did
Death by Coconut.
Coco Vesa?
Yeah. And then the extra anejo and the charred.
Oh yeah, those beers were
Vesa.
gross.
Well, the anejo one was not good. The charred was pretty good.
The chart is fantastic.
Yeah, I remember hearing you guys say that and me thinking, no, this is gross. I remember that.
I think we may have been having an
being
off
a hipster,
day.
yeah.
No, seriously. Sometimes I think you just have off days because we're like, wow, this fucking beer's good. And you're like, nope. Dump.
Spice cabinet. Nope.
The only thing
it's
dumber
not-
than
I'm
this
not-
beer is all these 4-brew fucks.
I'm
Matt
not
out.
talking
Poor
shit. I just think some days you're just
mic
off. I'm
drop.
off some days.
And then
too.
Matt just Candyman's right out of the fucking room.
Kiss my ass, cowboy, and just dumps it.
what is Candy Manning?
Okay.
Besides Peyton's sister.
No, you guys have seen the movie Candyman, right?
Yes.
With Tony Todd.
It's been a long
from, like, the
time.
early 90s.
Long time.
So, like, if you've seen the film, Candyman keeps coming around doing all this shit, making the girl look crazy. Like, and then basically, like, before anyone comes back, Candyman's like, peace, haha, you're just crazy now. Like, Candyman will come and, like, stab someone in the neck, and she's like, Candyman, stop fucking stabbing people in the neck. And he's like, not gonna. And then he leaves. And then the fucking doctors in the insane asylum come in, and they're like, what the fuck did you do? She's like, I swear to God, he was just here and stabbed this person in the neck. They're like, clearly it was you. Anyways, that's kind of the gist of Candyman. But
got it.
There's this one scene where basically all that happens, and then Candyman basically walks back to the window, and then he like crosses his arms like he's a vampire and he's about to lay down, and then just clearly like the stunt rig just yanks him out the window backwards. Like he just flies backwards out the window, and it's amazing. It's like my favorite exit of a room ever. I want to exit every room that way. I'll find the image of it and show you guys after the show.
okay.
But it was fantastic.
So Old Chub is up next.
Nope,
correct?
it's not.
No, it's not. I really want to do Old Chub.
Old Chub.
Apparently.
Really just want to do Old Chub.
I'm all Chub.
I'm Old Chub.
It's one of the best beer names.
I'm a scaly beer
Fish.
Up next is Hotbox Coffee Porter. because it's also a porter. So we're sticking
I wonder
with
if
that.
it's the same grist as the coconut beer.
That's actually a good. That's a good call. Take a tank, put some different.
We'll see
shit in
how it is.
What's the ABV?
The ABV on this beer is
usually tell.
6.5%. The ABV on the Death by Coconut, 6.5%.
Holy fuck!
Mind freak.
Some David Blaine shit right there.
I have a little bit of the Death by Coconut left in my glass. Should I do a quick little...
Yeah.
A little
color, maybe?
a little mini cubby.
Here we go.
John just did a master blend.
So I just tasted this. Nah. All right, give it up. Give it again. I'm waiting for the beer.
All right, we have another
waiting for the
can.
beer.
Apparently, John's in his own world.
No, I just did a quick cuvee.
Should do a YouTube show called The Quick Cuvee.
The quick cubbies.
Quick little coovies.
Welcome back.
That can be part of our ooey gooey YouTube content.
Welcome back to another issue of The Quick Cuvee with John Holzer. And today
Greg
we have a Bud Light mixed with a Coors Light.
Yeah, what the fuck, Greg? Like John has his own ooey gooey YouTube content. Jason and I
I need lights.
have our
I need
ooey gooey
mics.
YouTube content.
I need lights.
You know, you can come
I
here.
need a microphone.
You know, you can come here.
This is
to
like
do
a
that
2-hour
shit, right?
round trip, right?
Yeah, I'm aware of that, but still.
Yeah.
Motherfucker.
Greg, no one's getting on you about doing more for Brewers. It's
I think
fine.
you should.
Buy me a light. Give me some Patreon money for a light.
Give some of that
And a
sweet
microphone.
Patreon money. All right.
I did
ooey
see
gooey
some.
Patreon money.
I did see some guys online would take like the Twitch streamers and shit. They'll take like a the diffuser thing that you put over a camera flash and let us put it over like a light bulb. I was like, oh,
It's actually not a bad idea.
yeah.
Yeah, just like a regular light bulb. What I really like about like Twitch streamers is when they're not just using regular headsets, when they have like super nice microphones and a super nice mic, and it sounds essentially exactly the same as it would if you were just using a regular headphone because of compression.
I mean, the headphones are like
Streaming and shit.
I'm talking to my headphones right now, and this is my headset.
So
And
good.
then here's my
and then my regular microphone.
Well, so you're saying over the Twitch stream it sounds like a headset, but maybe they're recording it and releasing it as a podcast type of thing also, so it sounds really good in the podcast, but shitty on the Twitch
No
stream.
money in podcast, man.
Yeah,
Twitch is-
actually, there's a bunch of Destiny dudes that I listen to their podcast every once in a while, and they'll like play live, and it's like, this sounds really good for what it
They have
is.
like a boom mic over their heads.
No, actually, it's like they're all in like 3 different places, but they're all using really nice microphones.
Oh, well, it's all about the quality.
Yeah, Planet Destiny, good guys.
Huh.
So this beer, apparently it's Hotbox, not because of a weed reference,
This beer
very
is
mocha.
just by itself.
It's not cheap either. I think the cheapest I've seen it is $16
for a 6-pack.
at the shitty fuck you in the ass Chevron station that has craft
Well, I
beer.
mean, that's,
they sell it for $19.
Holy
6-pack. And when I buy it, they're like, "Wow, this is really expensive." I'm like, "Why are you saying that? Just take my fucking money.
Yeah.
Shut up." Like, you're making me feel guilty for spending the $19. Like, I don't want to drive to Riverside to buy this. Please, just
Please
let me
say-
spend the extra $3.
They probably didn't realize they even sold that till you got it. Like, wow, it's the most expensive
That's happened
beer.
quite a bit. Yeah, where they're like, "What's this?" I'm like, "You sell it."
You sell it, yeah. What the fuck?
They're like, listen, I don't know every variant of horny goat weed either, man. Fucking A. There's a lot of shit in this store.
So, a couple of things to note about Hotbox. They all have like little sayings on the top of the can, and this one is "Wake and Roast." And then on the bottom of the can, this says "Espresso Face."
Jason also brought one. I wonder what yours says.
Yeah,
on
what does the bottom of that can say?
It's in the fridge still.
Oh.
Doesn't matter.
Oh.
But like I said, Hotbox, not just a weed reference, also from Hotbox Roasters.
Which is
Say
in and of
coffee.
itself also a weed reference.
Exactly. It's like multiple levels of weed references.
Yeah, I mean, hotboxing is essentially taking a joint and just smoking it really fast, so your cherry gets very big.
No, that's not
No.
what that is.
Isn't it smoking it in like an enclosed
Yeah,
space?
exactly.
Oh.
Yeah, it's in a very small area where you jam as many people as you can in a small
Yeah,
area.
like if we
And
were
so-
like 4 tokers or whatever, and we just like fucking filled this room with smoke, then we
Welcome
would
to
be
4 tokers.
hotbox
it would be
roasters.
hotboxing. That is correct.
Yeah.
That's going to be our podcast when we're like 60.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're
Like
four
next year.
tokers.
Yeah, exactly. And we'd be like, "Welcome to what's it called again?" Welcome to Four Stoners.
No tokers.
Four Tokers.
Tokers.
Four Tokers. Welcome to Four Tokers.
Stoners
I'm
works too, though.
It's spelled
Matt.
TOE.
I think we can. What do we call it? Fuck.
I'm pretty sure it was.
So today on the show, we got a Fat Nugget Blue Dream. I'm looking forward to this. It's so purple.
Quick shout out to our patrons.
Oh, this episode is sponsored by King's
Maps.
Dispensary.
Weed maps.
For the royal treatment,
Weed Maps.
go to King's Dispensary. Get a free gift with any purchase $50 or over.
I mean-
I recommend the bonbons.
How do you guys think dispensaries are going to affect like beer? Because it had a big impact in Colorado.
Did it?
I mean, not negative, but as far as like growing space,
Yeah,
like they were
I
just getting like shit tons of warehouse space to grow.
That's a concern for a lot of
I have heard
breweries
about
out
that
here.
actually.
Well,
yeah.
there's the thing about it is there's a cap on how much actual like growing space you can have.
Oh, that's true. Well, is that
Per company, that is. So I mean, there's going to be ways they can around it, but that's a good question. Well, and that's the other thing too, though, is like the facility requirements are different. For example, like for a brewery, you need natural gas. You might not necessarily need that for a grow operation. You know, you'd still need water.
I don't know why you would need natural gas for growing weed.
Yeah, there's no reason. Oh, well, I mean,
For
Heaters,
smoking
maybe.
it.
I don't know.
yeah, I mean, you could use it would be a more efficient way to heat for temperature control if you're using gas energy for heating. But even then,
Why to be a requirement though?
what's that?
Nothing. Getting into semantics here.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's going to be interesting to see what happens over the next 10 years or so with
Yeah.
weed.
Welcome to
Yeah.
Four Growers, where we discuss
Our homegrown
Our hydroponics.
our weed grow operation. You don't need a heater because your grow lights are putting off enough heat on their own.
Oh, that's a good call, actually.
Yeah, there you
Actually,
go.
you need to use cool tubes.
I'm just guessing.
No,
so
that's
fucking-
actually true. Like there's
glycol chilled.
yeah. Well, in some grow operations, there's like they have to have like tubes on the lights themselves that push air through them to actually cool them off. So
Remember in the movie Half Baked, there's a point where the dude's giving like the really detailed description, and Dave Chappelle's like, "Motherfucker, you go to weed college?" Like when I see people talk about marijuana now, it's like all these people went to weed college. Like
Yep.
there's fucking there's a lot going
completely,
on.
yeah, 100%.
Science.
So Hotbox, the beer.
Looks largely the same as the last beer because it is largely the same, but tastes pretty different.
yeah, it's
yeah, it
very
does.
mocha forward for sure.
Apparently, they actually add Hotbox cold brew. They're not using the beans themselves. They're using they're just adding cold brew. I imagine straight to the fermenters.
I think it melds quite well with the beer.
Yeah, actually, I really like this beer.
I think it's better than the coconut.
Yeah, it's a little bit less abrasive. No, not abrasive. The coconut's just really sweet.
Yeah, it's not quite as sweet.
It's kind of more like cold brew with beer
Yeah,
than beer with cold brew.
I've been really growing an interest in cold brew, so it sounds good.
Yeah, it's very cohesive. You know, it melds very well together.
For sure.
I feel like this is more of like a meld kind of beer than the Death by Coconut, which was just like, you know, a coconut face
layered
smash.
night.
Right.
I don't know. When this is super fresh, because I remember it being like a lot of coffee when it was fresh, and I think time has.
I think you have to.
This is actually from the middle of late August, so yeah.
I think
this is-
time has not.
Coffee
I mean,
does
it still
fade.
tastes fine, but it's not. It doesn't smack you in the face with the coffee nearly as much as it did when it was fresh.
right.
I mean, it's a strong buy, but not for $20 for a 6-pack.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Honestly, I just blended the Death by and the Coke and the Hotbox, and I'm a lot more impressed with it than John was. I was like, that mix is good. I really like the coconut flavor toned down a little bit. So like,
Yeah.
I love taking that beer and mixing it with other beers with flavors. It really kind of meshes well, I think.
I'd like to take like a really big barrel aged imperial stout and just add like a dash of Death by Coconut, like just a little bit, you know, because I mean you already get like a lot of like toasted coconut flavors from barrels, so having that little extra bit, I think that would be kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I just fed Greg the blend.
It's all right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
with John.
I like it this way.
Apparently, Hotbox Coffee has a coffee called Kenya Dig It.
Can you believe it?
It's pretty delicious.
I like that.
Thanks, Beer Circles.
Yeah, that's pretty rad. So Hotbox, high quality. So next we're doing
Old Chub.
Are we doing Old Chub? Old Chub is that next? Is Old Chub next?
10 Fidy.
Yes, it is.
Hooray!
Damn, yes. Finally.
It's like Sputnik, a virtual planetoid. That's the reference we were doing.
That's literally the same.
It's on the can.
Yeah, it's on the can.
And then on the bottom it says scantily plaid.
That's actually genius.
This is from 811.
Okay. The Scotch ale.
Yeah. Old Chub should hold up really well.
Yeah, you
like,
don't wanna-
if it didn't,
If it was too new, it would just be Chub.
How often do you guys drink Scotch ales? Never.
If they're fresh on tap,
Never.
full malted jacket.
Yeah, like
What a rad name, but no, I never
annually.
never drink it.
Yeah, exactly. Like whenever we have one on this show.
Yeah, I enjoy a good
It
Scotch
seems like
ale.
a good cold campfire kind of beer. You know, better than even a
They're
stout.
a good hearty beer.
Yeah.
Nice and malty.
Like the Hardy Boys.
This
I wanna
one,
have a cold campfire.
Sometimes you're just tired of hops and you just want the antithesis of that.
I'm never
which is
tired of
Scotch
hops.
ale is the antithesis of hops.
This one's coming in with like a dark caramelly thing. When you hold it up to the light, you can see the light through it. It kind of glows a little, but
Yeah, this is like one of those beers that's like, somewhere in between like red and brown.
Yep.
yeah,
You know?
because like if you hold
like
it
a
with no
light
light,
brown.
you're like, oh, that's really dark.
A lighter shade of brown.
Yeah.
It's a deeper shade of soul.
God damn it.
Right, that's a 90s.
I thought it was a hazy shade of winter.
Remember for Brewers? Only 90s kids would get this. Remember John?
I was a 70s
remember
kid.
Jason?
I barely
Remember
get
Greg? Remember Matt? Yeah, I remember. Remember Brad?
Smells caramely.
Smells big time, like just caramelized sugar.
Smells caramelized sugar and like melanoidin.
Like triple caramely.
This does smell great, though. Yeah.
Yeah, it
Right?
really does. Like, wow.
Yeah, it's like a little bit of smoky caramel. Like it's took the caramel and you cooked it a little bit too long.
Smoky caramel. Her and Dusty Coco are my two favorite strippers.
Yeah, they work Mondays and Fridays.
Mondays and Fridays, yeah. It's a damn good beer, though.
Yeah, this is a lot drier than I expected it to be.
It is very nice and dry.
Man.
I'll give it that.
I expected this big, chunky, syrupy kind of beer, and it's not that at all. This is really, really good.
And it does have just a little tiny hint of peat smoke. Right?
Yeah, there's a smoky finish on there that kind of just washes it out. And I think that's where the beer gets that kind of drier, balanced. It's got a big sweet caramely note up front, but then that smokiness in the back kind of just comes in to clean up and just like, all right, we'll be on our way now.
So this does have beechwood.
Yeah, I was going to say it's
greens.
not peat. It's not peat smoke. It's beechwood smoke.
Yeah.
I was going to say it doesn't have that like iodine thing that peat.
I wonder why they
peat
picked
smoke.
beechwood. Just kind of like mock.
I think it's kind of a mellower.
Beechwood is the traditional Rauch beer smoked.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Like, what is the cherry wood is like the common like American one?
Yep.
Like whenever you have like a smoked stout or smoked porter or something like that from an American brewery, they're using cherry wood, mostly just because Brees, their smoked malt is cherry wood smoked.
Yep.
But Beechwood is your Bamberg Rauch beer.
Yeah, that cherrywood smoke malt is you can use it 100% of your grist.
Oh my God! But would you
It's
want
fully,
to?
Yeah. I don't know.
Shit. That stuff. That stuff is also like working with it is a pain in the dick because it's actually like really sticky.
But you're
so
saying you
it
can
sounds
use
like
it
a
for
nightmare.
100% of your
Yeah, it's fermentable.
Sounds like a fucking
Yeah.
nightmare.
It's not.
It'll self convert.
Yeah,
That is, yeah.
exactly.
But
Spent so much time thinking about whether or not you
Diastatic?
didn't
What's
think
the name?
about if you should.
Diastatic.
So
Diastatic
most
power.
smoked malt won't. Like you can't ferment smoked malt, or
I don't think that's true. I think you could probably use 100%.
it's not like you're
Bamberg smoked malt.
converting or.
It's a question nobody's ever asked
just
because
smoking,
fuck,
Nobody
why?
would. Why would you? Yeah.
Yeah.
unless it picks up some heat from
Honestly,
the source
I
that's
wouldn't-
being smoked from, and it kind of
They might cold
darkens
smoke
it
it.
a little bit.
I wouldn't be surprised if like some of those Bamberg smoked beers are 100% smoked malt. Some of those things are smoky as
Oh,
fuck.
fuck yeah, dude.
Like liquid smoke.
Should we do
I
a
love those.
smoke show?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I thought about doing that.
Yes, I'm so for that.
I might die.
I'm like hearing that. And I'm like, oh yeah.
I thought about smoking my own
Girls a
malt.
dime. Goddamn smoke show.
You thought?
I was going to smoke my own malt at home.
I've done it. I did it with Carlos
Oh yeah.
He cooked some steak, and I put some malt in the smoker.
Actually,
It worked.
I mean,
very well.
I actually think we're going to do that at Packing House. Do a smoke beer with Carlos.
I've got a,
Give me credit on that.
I've got a smoker.
Yeah, we do have a smoker, huh?
Want to put some malt in there?
Yeah, you should.
Can we
When was the
smoke
last time you
some
smoked some
salmon?
meat?
Like 2 weeks ago.
Nice.
Here's some
I
advice.
did a brisket.
If you're gonna smoke malt that way, like totally do it.
Don't.
We got like some stainless steel because this is homebrew size. So we did, I think, 5 or 6 ounces.
That's all
of
you need.
malt. But I got some stainless steel screen door mesh.
Screen door, yeah.
And you have to wet it as you smoke it, otherwise it'll catch on fire and burn. But do it the day before, so you can give it 24 hours to dry out. Otherwise, when you go to mill it, you just get this sticky, kind of gooey mess, and it's a pain to work within your mill. So do it the day before, and then make your beer.
It's a good call.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's good to know.
Ideally, I would say if I was doing it at home, I would try to cold smoke it, which I am not set up for.
What's the difference between cold smoking and hot smoking? Like, what's the temperature difference?
Well, basically, cold smoking, you have your smoke being generated in like a different chamber, and then basically you're funneling the smoke into a non-heated chamber.
As opposed to it all being in one area.
They'll usually be attached, right? So the smoke's being in kind of this box, and then you have the smoke box here, but you're generating smoke in the
So
smoke.
there's just like a tube connecting this hot smoke.
Yeah, it would go via convection, essentially.
Yeah.
All right. That might be a better way to do it, because like I said, the only reason I had to wet it was to keep it from catching on fire. We had it on the very, very top shelf. So in his smoker, I don't know, was 4 feet tall or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But it's like a box type smoker, right?
I don't know.
Was it the shape of a box?
I can't remember. I think it was round.
All right.
But anyway, it got hot enough to where you had to keep wetting it. So
Gotta wet it.
Take these bags.
Keep
of
it moist,
shit.
baby.
We're gonna set some on fire.
Gotta keep it wet. Sorry.
Dude, smoke some salmon. That sounds good right now.
That does sound really good right now, actually. But Old Chub, a classic.
With this.
Yes.
For foodies.
Smoked salmon and this beer, probably fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, for real. Also worth noting, there is a nitro version of Old Chub out there that's kind of gross.
I think nitro beer in general is kind of gross.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm with you on that one, but you got to be real specific. Like, you got to choose the
fully
right
agree,
kind
dude.
of beers.
We were talking about that before. The first time I tried it, it tasted like when you chew on the end of a pencil, like the eraser, and you get that like contact with like your filling in your tooth and the metal of the pencil.
Oh, ow.
And then like that's the flavor
You're making my
of that.
mouth hurt just thinking about that.
And then I
get
tried it
sympathetic
again,
pain, dude.
like 6 months later, and the same damn thing with that beer. I'm like, oh, this
having
is just not a fan.
flashbacks to like 6th grade. That sucks.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
like
right?
that like kind of
Yeah,
moment.
just like,
yeah. Oh.
it's like, yeah.
You know, it's like it would be punctuated by like an atonal like violin hit, you know, like ping! And you're like,
dude.
my face.
You guys remember pencil fighting?
Yeah.
People would like rev up. They're like,
We should do it.
"Bop." This beer though has really kind of changed my mind about Scotch ale, because it's really tasty.
And they've got a
kinda
lot
crushable.
of alcohol on them, but you really don't get that in this beer. What is
Yeah.
it, 9%?
8. Yeah.
8.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, yeah.
I think it's pretty good. All.
Even has like a dash of vanilla on there.
I can get that.
That is just it's savory.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
really nice. I like it a lot.
We'll drink again.
So next up, are we doing Old Chub next? Or next, what we're doing?
Yeah,
Pair
let's
with
do
the
it again.
burrito.
No, but on the real. Next up, we're doing what is probably my favorite Oskar Blues beer.
I'm gonna need about 1050. He gave him $1.
What kind of oil are you putting in your car? 1050.
It was about that time that I realized that it wasn't a beer, but a 30-foot tall monster from the Paleozoic era.
What?
Okay.
It sounds like something from Hunter S. Thompson.
Not quite.
Is there a Mesozoic era?
Could be.
Okay. Somebody look that up.
Mesozoic. That's like that's just smaller.
Well, if Sarah Palin becomes the new head of Department of the Interior, you can ask her.
Yeah.
I will.
Yeah, which is a rumored thing to happen.
Well, she'd be amazing.
That sounds
She would
amazing.
do a great job,
I
I'm
think
sure.
the Department of the Interior should get the guy that does the interior crocodile alligator wrap.
How has that come up again on our show?
I thought for the Department of the
Chip the
Interior.
rapper.
I thought for the Department of the Interior, you should have an interior decorator. So 10 Fidy.
We're just gonna let that one hang out to dry there. Fucking.
I tell you what, I want to go parasailing. Here we go. Jesus Christ. Oh my God, we're all going to die. Death by coconut right here. We're going to pelt you with coconuts is what's going to happen.
Turns out I'm allergic to coconut. I literally had death by coconut.
You're on an island and then you're just napping underneath the tree and then you're dead.
And then concussion.
Matt's throat closed up because he's allergic to coconut.
Poison. I'm going to start doing that and I'm going to be like, no, guys, really anaphylactic shock.
I really got
Anaphylaxis.
And then I'll fucking have John get his like fucking giant syringe full of epinephrine or whatever. Draw a thing right on your chest, like, all right, 1, 2,
Something. So 10 Fidy.
This beer is goddamn delicious.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. I've always had this like chocolate covered raisins thing.
Yep.
That was always like my first draw. What does it say on the bottom of the can?
It says hundreds and fifties. Hundreds and fifties. Like
No.
hundreds and fifties.
Oh, I get
Hundreds
it.
and fifties.
And Fiddies.
Also, I think the 1050 thing you said, the motor oil, is probably what the actual original reference was.
I would assume
I
so.
think so.
I didn't even know that was a thing. I know like, what is it, 10W30?
The can also
Yeah,
says
50 would be like thicker for
says this dog will hunt,
the dog. Will hunt.
Dog will.
Oh, we'll hunt.
and then it says half baked, fully roasted ale. They're full of like the descriptors and like catchy marketing crap. Cross-eyed, cyclopean, concupiscent. These guys smoke a lot of weed.
Drove the goddamn fast.
Colorado,
Couldn't win the checkered flag, but it never did come in last.
10.5%
10.5 what?
alcohol.
Yeah.
And
In a can.
in a bit of incredibly poor planning, I drank a barrel aged version of this on Friday.
How was it?
It was great.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. Yeah, you guys
Cool.
really should have had some.
Where'd you get it from?
My
Dr. Zach?
no, my friend John
okay.
went to
Some guy named John.
went to Colorado and got them from the brewery. But in good news for us and our listeners, they're saying that it's about to go nationwide distribution. So
Didn't they have like a
Burls.
giant debacle like trying to sell Barrel Aged 1050?
There was some kind of issue with the amount they had, I think.
It was essentially like a Lost Abbey style
think.
on sale fail,
People
where
lost
they
their
like
shit.
they were just not used to doing those kinds of on sale of internet sales, and so like they had issues with supply and something like that. And then I saw like the apology note that they put out, and they were like, you know what, guys, we kind of screwed this one up. Our bad. And it was really nice because, I mean, it's pretty rare for, a brewery to immediately be like, okay, we fucked this one up and we recognize this and we're going to make amends. And I'm like, good on you guys.
That's all I know about the story is the apology note.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I heard about it. So, because I'm not a beer geek.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Like super like raisiny, like just like raisin, prune, like dark chocolate. It doesn't have any of those big coffee or chocolate or like those big like roasty coffee notes, Doesn't have any of that.
I get a big humidor flavor on it, like cigar humidor.
Yeah, word. It's super
Isn't that
tobacco-y.
crazy?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for real.
I mean, it's just glass coating, too. The alcohol in this thing. It's
so
just,
good.
and
It
1050
sticks around for days.
We've
That
talked
roast.
about 1050 a bunch. It's one of those beers that gets no real credit because it just hangs out on the shelf, and even less so, I think, because it's like a 4-pack of cans.
Yeah.
So like
it's not cheap
your
either.
big, but yeah, your big imperial stout chasers though look at it and they're like, well, that's just a
It's
regular
not barrel
beer.
aged, yeah.
Yeah, even not the barrel. Just not that it's not barrel aged. It's just, I mean,
It's omnipresent.
Dark Lord's not barrel aged, but it's just easy to get and available in a multi pack for like a reasonable price. So people are like, meh, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's a goddamn good beer.
Goddamn.
Oh goddamn.
Oh, fuck me.
I think
Really?
the first time I had this was in 2012, and it was the first time I saw it for sale anywhere. I was like, oh my God, I'll try that. Why not? And I had no idea what the alcohol was or anything. I just bought it because the can, and poured a glass, and I was like fucking like buzzed off of one can. And I was like,
I'm
oh my
pretty
God,
sure
it's
this
so
is
amazing.
the first beer I had from Oskar Blues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was 1050. And
I think me too.
the can, I mean, it's just a really cool looking can, and the name is cool. It looks like it's going to be a good beer. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it's
really good marketing on the
styling.
can.
Yeah, my favorite Ten Fidy story is an old friend of mine that I used to work with at O'Shea's, South Orange County's premier homebrew shop.
Just drove by it.
This dude, his family, they weren't coffee drinkers. They were like soda drinkers in the morning. Like that's what they did. And so one day his dad was going to work, and he's like driving, and he's got his like morning soda, and he cracks it, and he takes a giant gulp.
Oh, 1050.
And he stops and he goes, and he like literally rolls down the window and spits it out of the window because he grabbed a 1050 instead of his usual like fucking Diet Pepsi or whatever it was.
Party, man.
Yeah, exactly. And just like the way he told the story, that look of shock on his face, I'm like, yeah, I could see that. But yeah, grab the 1050 instead of the soda, and didn't notice. Thanks, mornings.
You guys buy that Modern Times canned like cold coffee?
Yeah.
I didn't think it was that great.
Well, I'm not getting into that, but do you ever feel weird drinking it while you're driving? Because it says Modern Times on it, and there's no alcohol in it. But the first time I got it, I was like, I feel weird. And then I had one in my work truck and got to work, and the guy I worked with at the time knew me well enough to know that Modern Times was a craft brewery. He doesn't drink beer though, and so I threw it in our trash can that we put all of our work trash in. And he looks at me, he's like, is that a fucking beer can? I'm like, no, it's cold roast coffee. And he looks at me like, really? And I pull it out and I'm like, no, look, there's no alcohol in it. And I was like, I'm not doing this ever again on the way to work.
Yeah.
I did have that same thing where I'm like, yeah, and I'm going to have that out to drink. And they're like,
what you doing there, Jason? We know you like beer and everything,
you
but
do what, motherfucker?
They need to. I mean, I know they kind of invert the colors on the can. They make it a black background.
Yeah.
But they need to make it way more different.
Yeah.
So it's
apparently they just put out a new one that went just to Trader Joe's.
Really?
Of cold brew coffee that I want to try again. Yeah, because the first one I wasn't super impressed with, but like their coffee beans themselves are actually really great.
I thought the first one was really bitter.
I like the Black House blend cold brew when I've had it there, but I didn't like it in the cans that much.
Yeah, I thought it was just kind of. I thought it was kind of thin.
They have like a little cafe there now.
That's what I've heard.
At the main brewery.
Yeah, I heard that they're
and they built like a merch window for their fucking pickups and stuff.
Yeah, they have like a whole like coffee operation. Can you get like a subscription service from them too?
Yeah.
That sounds.
So
dope.
I'm not an expert on this though. Are you supposed to blend it? Like, are you supposed to put it on ice so it waters the coffee down? Or
I would.
Not
is it one of those things where
it's personal preference.
It should
might
be
help.
good in the can or in ice.
Yeah, it's personal preference. Yeah, it should be okay either. Like, it's one of those things that if you put it over ice, you know that it's going to be a little bit thinner. Like, that's just the case. So if you want something thicker and more chewy, then you would drink it straight. If you wanted it to be a little bit thinner, then you would put it over ice. It's personal preference.
They recommend putting it on ice,
Yeah.
But I wonder if that's to tone down. Like I said, when I drank it, I don't drink a lot of coffee, but I thought it was just really bitter. Like I've had it 5 or 6 times, and I could barely get through a can without choking it down.
It's especially their stuff is especially bitter that I noticed.
Yeah, it's a little over roasted for my taste, but yeah,
I'm just wondering in
I think ice
general
helps
though, if you get canned iced, cold roasted coffee, if you're supposed to put it on ice, if that's like
Not necessarily.
you're fucking up if you don't, kind of thing.
No, I
Okay.
don't think so.
Speaking of which, Modern Times is moving right down the street from my goddamn house in Anaheim.
Oh
I mean,
goddamn! Next
Literally
to your
on
house.
my street.
Yeah,
I'm gonna crash at Nagel's house.
What was it? 35,000 square feet.
A lot of that's
It
cool,
sounds
though.
big, but it's not that big.
You got a 30,000 square foot
Motherfucker,
pool.
compared to my place, it's pretty fucking big.
I mean,
for
I
a
think-
satellite
I
place.
think the building
My-
space is not 30. The whole lot is probably 35,000.
My smallest building is
Including
30,000 square feet, and it's really small. I'm shutting it down.
Yeah,
Are you really?
get rid of it.
It's too small.
Well, compared to our brewery is 5,000 square
No.
feet.
Okay, maybe it is.
Yeah, and I think I'm overestimating there.
Okay.
So yeah, fuck you guys. That's huge.
I mean, it's like
You know what
it's
else is huge?
if you're
This
counting
great
your-
flavor in Oskar Blues 1050.
Are you counting your parking space too? Because I'm sure
No.
they are.
I mean, we bought this beer from the store. We could talk about
No, I'm
whatever
just-
the fuck else we want.
I'm estimating. In my
we
head.
don't owe
That's
Oskar
true.
Blues a goddamn thing.
Yeah, exactly. We bought
Blues, dude.
all these beers.
Oscar
We can
Blues
talk
doesn't
about
need our
modern
help.
times in the Oscar Blues show.
Oscar Blues doesn't need the 4B bump. I mean, they're doing
They're
fine.
gonna get the 4B dip.
They're doing
They're getting a
fine.
4B dip for sure.
I also appreciated
Oskar Blues, grab it if you can. That pun from Kyle in the chat.
Oh,
He
nice.
put the pun.
Good job, Kyle.
He really works for his money over here.
I also like the fact that he used pun dog.
Yeah, the pun dog is my favorite.
Oh, the pun dog is
my
pun dog
favorite.
makes it work.
I love pun dog.
If he would have just said that without pun dog, it would have been okay, haha, chuckle. But the pun dog's like, oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Next
Like,
level.
all right, we get it.
Overall, though, looking at the whole range of beer that we have, we've done a lot. We've done a few feature shows where we've done a big range from like a large regional, semi-national brewery, and comparatively, this is one of the strongest ranges I think of any of those.
I agree.
I mean, the Sierra Nevada show, like there was a lot of clunkers in that show, and like some of the other big regionals we get, you're like, there's some good, there's some bad.
If you look at the top 10
and
list.
then you have the Facts of Life. But
Not one of these were bad.
yeah, these were all
agree.
solid ass beers. Like,
And considering some are older than I would have preferred,
Yeah.
they were still solid.
Even then, they were
still-
still really
yeah.
strong, yeah. And also, let's consider the omissions. And I mean, like Pinner, great beer, you know.
Deviant Dale's great beer.
Great beer. Gubna, great beer.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't think, I can't think of a stinker in their entire line. Well, except for the Nitro Old Chub. That's not good at all.
That's a matter of preference, though, I think.
No, it's the matter of it being bad.
Nitro beer sucks. Going on record.
Gross.
Nitro
Where-
beer sucks. Pwah, pwah, pwah.
Where's Oskar Blues on the list of like the top 50 Brews Association
They're way up there. They're like top 10. I
Top 10?
think.
Okay.
Yeah, at least.
for as far as production barrelage?
Yeah, exactly. Well,
Yeah,
there are
they-
4 fucking breweries.
Yeah, they're one of the ones that everyone kind of sleeps on, though. When you think of, like, who are the big nationals, you're like, okay, Sierra Nevada, New Belgium, Lagunitas, and, Oskar Blues is number 14.
wow.
Who's ahead of them?
Right behind Firestone Walker and
All right.
Brooklyn and Ballast Point.
So, yeah, that's some good competition.
That's surprising.
Brooklyn is still technically a craft brewery, even though they're 23.5%, or what, 24.5%.
24.5%.
Yeah.
And also, all their beer is
different-
not made.
Yeah,
in
that's
Brooklyn.
bullshit, is what that is. The whole thing where they're like, we walked right up to the line where we're no longer defined as independent, and now we're that. So we're just gonna.
Yeah,
It's like, we're not going to break the
rules.
rules. Like, I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. It's like,
What's
fuck
so
you.
dumb about that?
Exactly.
It's such an arbitrary number, too, that somebody just
Right.
pulled out of their ass.
Well, yeah, exactly. And the numbers change. I mean, just look at the fucking thing with, Boston beer. It's like, oh,
ceiling
it's a
keeps
million.
getting
It's a
raised.
million barrels. Oh no, just kidding. 6 million to accommodate this one brewery. Same thing.
Speaking of which, I think they're down 14% year over year.
Well, I mean, that's what happens when you, like Jason said, you don't keep up with the market.
Yeah.
And they're-
when
and
you
they're-
get
I mean, Rebel Juicy, come on.
yeah.
And Sam Adams' efforts to keep up have been half-assed. They've been like, here is a half-hearted attempt at making the thing that everybody else is doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
That's a legitimate statement.
You do not like Rebel IPA is a half-assed copy of Lagunitas IPA, which is a 20-year-old IPA recipe.
yeah, exactly.
Come on, guys. Like,
Yeah.
But maybe if we take a step back and look at it from a consumer that's not a beer geek, that's something new to them, and they trust Sam Adams Boston Beer Company beer, and they're like, "Oh, this is new from them."
That's a good point.
'Cause
They
live
have a
in a-
lot
we
more
live in a bubble.
Audience is
considerations.
pretty big.
Yeah, they have
So-
they have way more considerations as far as like how is this going to play in the Midwest, or how is this going to play, in podunk towns where your local bar has like all BMC except for like one Sam Adams
You
product.
have to think that they drink their beer and go, "Okay, it's good," but beer geeks are going to shit on this. But who gives a shit?
I think
like, we brew 6 million barrels a year. Like, fuck them.
Yeah.
Oskar Blues right now is a really good example of this, though. So right now, the big regionals are really competing with the fact that you can get better beer from a local producer on the shelf next to their beer. And Oskar Blues, all of these beers are standout beers on their own merit, not just the only beer that I can buy in town.
Yep.
They're just good beers. So I would still buy, Dale's Pale or Death by Coconut because they offer me something I'm not necessarily going to get from Joe's Brewing down the way. But Sam Adams is like, well, we have these mediocre tamed down beers to not offend your sensibilities. And that guy, that may have worked on a guy 5 years ago, had no other choices. But now he's like, yeah, I can just get fucking mediocre watered down beer from my local brewery down the way. If you're not offering me a superior product, I have no reason to buy from you.
That's true. I mean, how many real? This is an interesting question. How many actual like craft beer deserts are even left anymore? You know what I mean? I mean, you can go to pretty much any major metro area, and there's going to be at least a couple of craft breweries,
okay, you
right?
just said major metro area. You're not thinking of the rural areas where there are not a lot of craft breweries.
That's true, but also, I would guess that in those areas too, like actual craft demand wouldn't be nearly as high.
There's a few outliers, like Montana is full of craft breweries that are doing amazing beer.
Yeah,
I can see what you're saying though. It might be based off population. If there's nobody there to buy your beer, you can't open a brewery and just exist if no one's buying your product.
I think the market is maturing to a point everywhere where you can't get by just making okay beer and because it's better than nothing, and I think Sam Adams has been that for a long time where they're just making okay beer.
But a lot of people are buying their okay beer. Where if you're a brand new brewery and you're making okay beer, you're in a different you have a different clientele where it's like, okay, I'm not going to the liquor store to buy something different. I am going to trek to this place that is not in my liquor store, so they better have something that's good.
For real.
And that's the difference, I think.
14% for a small brewery is not that much. 14% down for Samuel Adams is a huge amount.
Yeah, I mean,
they're down.
If they did, 6 million barrels, 14%, that's like, 650,000 barrels?
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
650,000 barrels down.
Literally money down the drain.
3 or 4 years ago, you would hear people say all the time, like, oh, I go to such and such restaurant. They don't have any beer. They have Sam Adams at least. And that's not the case anymore. It's not the better than nothing option anymore almost anywhere.
Yeah.
You're never ordering a Boston Lager because it's like, well, it's either that or Bud Light. Like, places have other beer that you can get that you actually want.
I'm like, what's the cost of Bud Light? Just get that.
Yeah, for real. All that being said, if there's one big regional that's crushing it, apparently it's Oskar Blues.
Yeah, they're doing good shit.
Keep an eye out for that barrel-aged Ten Fidy coming out.
Smoke a bong out of it.
Right on.
You put your weed in there.
Put your weed in it. If you want to find Four Brewers online, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram. You can find all that information on fourbrewers.com. Go to fourbrewers.com/YouTube for our fuzzy, yummy little video content. I'm trying to find other adjectives besides
wiggity
ooey
waggity.
gooey.
Yeah, you were stuck on ooey gooey for like 8 episodes.
I know. I'm trying to find something different. I tried to improv it and it didn't work.
The first time I heard it was like, oh, and then 8, and I was like,
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to branch out and it didn't work out very well.
What did you just say?
Fuzzy Wuzzy, yeah. Fuzzy Wuzzy, that's pretty good. For our Fuzzy Wuzzy YouTube content.
I'm on board with Fuzzy Wuzzy.
All right, that works.
Fuzzy Wuzzy.
What else? Shit, what else do I need to promote? Patreon. Go to patreon.com/4brewers if you want to donate to the show. Go to iTunes and give us your 5-star rating because we want to know what you think, as long as it's 5 stars. Go
feedback at fourbrewers.com if you want to send us a message.
Yes, that too. Brew the shit out of it.